Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to listen to what Nsibambi says NUP manifesto is.
You just talk about opposition parties. The people who are in charge, you either have to address, you have to fight police, you have to do this for you to be seen a gumite. You know gumite? Gumite means just be strong, oppose. Vimba, Nyiga, Nsibambi Nyiga. And that's the manifesto.
And that's the manifesto, he says.
Each prisoner who is in prison is given $1,000 for upkeep and legal representation.
By who?
By foreign donors. Open
Who are these?
Society. Very many societies abroad in Germany.
Open society? Ladies and gentlemen, this is what Bobi Wine said when they allege that NUP is getting money from all these prisoners.
Abantu abali makomera mugamba ati aba NUP tubakozesa bukozesa kwetwogerera tubakozesa byabufuzi mubate ebyobufuzi byaffe bife tetwagalira ddala kubeera nga twogera ku bantu abo mubate mutuswaze.
What I'm saying, there should be clear path of negotiation on how to get those political prisoners out. You don't compromise freedom. We live life once. The Eddie Mutwes, there are so many, we can name them.
Why are we not discussing the crimes they committed? In this very tiny book titled On Tyranny, 20 Lessons from the 20th Century, the former Richard C. Levin Professor of History and Global Affairs at Yale University, Mr. Timothy Snyder, tells us on how we should respond in times of despotism and tyranny like that we see in Uganda. And I've taken quite some time reading it, and I usually come back to Chapter 1, which says, do not obey. I think I should bring it here. Do not obey in advance. That's what he says. And I'm going to go on and read you here. He says, most of the power of authoritarianism is freely given. In times like these, individuals think ahead about what a more repressive government will want and then offer themselves without being asked. A citizen who adapts in this way is teaching power what it can do. And every time I read this and look at the politics in my country, I cannot believe how true these words are. Like, many politicians who have capitulated, who have waved the white flag, have shown Museveni what power can do, and by extension, done the same with Muhoozi. They've allowed themselves to be abused, stripped of their dignity, called names, ridiculed to mere beggars, and they accept those titles of beggars, of being stupid, with a huge smile on their faces. When Museveni reduces them to just tools, they like that. And that's what we're going to be looking at tonight, ladies and gentlemen, in this concept. Oh, sure. I'm naming Uganda's contest for idiocy. I mean, it is idiocy contest between the two. They hosted two folks. And I'm not trying to insult them. Look, Yusuf Nsibambi was a university lecturer. And then you have a former Aru County Member of Parliament, Odonga Otto. But I have a right to say, hey, I am stupid in a certain concept. Like if you told me to explain to you rocket science, I would be stupid and ignorant in that area. But this sort of ignorance and stupidity from these two folks, Tweedledum and Tweedledee, is willfully. Like they're choosing to. For example, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to listen to what Nsibambi says NUP manifesto is.
You just talk about opposition parties. The people who are in charge, you either have to address, you have to fight police, you have to do this for you to be seen a gumite. You know gumite? Gumite means just be strong, oppose. Vimba, Nyiga, Nsibambi nyiga. And that's the manifesto.
And that's their manifesto, he says. The shamelessness in his stupidity would be really endearing if it wasn't really shameful. Like, I laugh at that not because it is so funny. It is so stupid that you have to laugh instead of crying. I'm telling you, I would be crying. So I'm sure many people who have gone through the hands of Nsibambi are wondering, what happened to Professor? What happened to my lecturer? I mean, by a 1-second Google search, you can land on NUP manifesto that says, this is our manifesto from 2021 and then 2026 presidential bid. But he's telling you that the manifesto of the NUP are these words, Gumite, Vimba, and stuff like that. And I do not understand why he's extremely obsessed with how NUP does its work, yet he's former member of the FDC. If it isn't hate, it is a jealousness. Let's go back and listen.
If
to what
you
he
now
said.
say, oh, we are going to do this, charge, you just talk about opposition parties.
Listen.
The people who are in charge, you either have to address, you have to fight police, you have to do this for you to be seen a gumite. You know gumite? Gumite means just be strong, oppose.
A Gumite. Look at his face.
Vimba, nyiga, Nsibambi nyiga. And that's the manifesto. If you now say, oh, we are going to do this.
And that's their manifesto. And like, there's no response from the host, Simon Kagwanjala, to say, I think you're lying. And I understand this is junk food for folks who cannot think beyond what they're being told. And there's some people who enjoy this. You can lie to them on TV. They won't care. But at least I believe that as a journalist, you have a responsibility, a duty to call out lies when you know they're being told. You don't just platform them and be like, okay, let me give him a permission to deceive. I mean, I know for sure, you know for sure, that Simon Kagwanjala knows that Gumite or Vimba is not NUP manifesto. But why are we not seeing a pushback? What you witnessed is the true definition of a soft bow interview. Soft boss. Passing him soft boss. Okay.
No, they say, you see, you have to tell a candidate, and the person addressing the candidate is the presidential candidate. The boss say, nyiga. Nyiga means what? Get annoyed. Gumite, be strong. So in the process, actually, as Honorable to say,
how worrying is the retardation of politics?
Imagine Simon Kagwanjala responding to that. He's not even pushing back on the lies that has been told by Nsibambi. That, hey, for clarity, Gumite and what is it called, Vimba, these are not, this is not a NUP manifesto. These are catchphrases, sloganeering, catchwords that are being used during campaigns. They die when the campaign dies. It's funny. If you told him that the NRM were saying Mosaic Tova Kumain, is that the NRM manifesto? The NRM has its own manifesto, but they're using that slogan to show that, hey, they have this unwavering support towards a dictator. Sad. Okay, let's go here, ladies and gentlemen, where Nsibambi, again, makes ridiculous allegations. Probably, let's go here. Okay, sorry. I was double checking here. I think it's around here, yeah.
Prison by prison. 52 people are supposed to be released and 72 released. Then there was again interference. They all backed off. In the process, Honorable Chagulanyi goes to the European Union Parliament raises this issue that there are prisoners who are incarcerated and innocent. As we talk now, the 15 prisoners were supposed to be released from the Kawempe court, Kasangat court, led by Sauda Madada. They also said, I have no instructions unless I go under NOP.
Exactly.
There are even other discussions which are ongoing. But the problem I have to tell viewers, and frankly, and I'm privy to information, each prisoner who is in prison is given $1,000 for upkeep and legal representation.
By who?
By foreign donors, Open
Who are these?
Society, very many societies abroad in Germany.
Open Society, and he continues to say, and there are so many other organizations.
And this money goes through a firm where you have a partner who is an
A partner.
official
Oh, partner. Oh, no.
in NOP and another MP.
I
elect.
find this baseless.
No, it's not baseless because I'm deeply involved in
1,000
this.
per month.
Per month, each prisoner.
So it is better business than
So
to
it's
be
better business.
in prison.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they are
This is a contest for idiocy. Oh, $1,000. Oh, so it is they're making money. Even when he cannot substantiate the claims he's peddling. Oh, there's Open Society and there's another organization. There's so many in Germany, in Serbia, in Moldova. I mean, there's so many. But as we listen to this hogwash from these people, let's go listen to what Bobi Wine said. I think Bobi Wine has commented on that when you say NUP is benefiting all the, is getting all this money from all these prisoners. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what Bobi Wine said when they alleged that NUP is getting money from all these prisoners.
Abantu abali makomera mugamba nti aba NUP tubakozesa bukozesa kwe twogerera tubakozesa bya bufuzi mubate ebyobufuzi byaffe bife tetwagalira ddala kubeera nga twogera ku bantu abo mubate mutuswaze.
Simple. Like it is a matter of released. Bobi Wine won't be making $1,000 every month. I think that's what he said. But again, you have to realize something they're trying to do here. They're wanting you to focus on this junk they're feeding you, this baseless junk. That you do not focus on the reason. Why were these people imprisoned? Many of them were abducted in the first place. Why were they abducted? They do not want you to discuss the concept of due process. How do we arrest people? How long are they supposed to be kept in prison? What is the procedure of arresting someone? They don't want you. It is a capitulation in real time, what you see. They have completely waved the white flag and shown Museveni that, hey, you can do whatever you want to us. Why would people be pleading with Museveni to release people as though we do not have courts of law? Do you know why? Because they know Museveni has presided over the genocidal destruction of our institutions. So they won't go to him because it's not, so they won't go to the courts of law because they know Museveni controls them. He dominates these institutions. They cannot do anything. It is the sad thing. And I know many of you are going to be like, hey, Mordecai, so do you want these people to be in prison? Hey, if there's a prisoner who wants to discuss freedom, they want to be granted their freedom, please go on. I don't have any problem. But I'm standing on the words of the likes of Yasin Sechitoleko, who said, I won't admit, for crimes of terrorism and stuff like that. How about those ones who do not want to admit to these crimes? But I know that's a diversion. Every time we're discussing about Museveni or forgiving them, what crime did they commit? How do they end up there? And what does it mean when you release a few and they do the same thing? Or you have a bunch of other young people, not even young people, Ugandans, who are going to oppose your criminal regime. Then you're going to abduct them, arrest them, torture them, kill some of them, and then we plead with you, you release a few of them. Is it going to be the cycle? Oh my God. These people, I don't like listening to what they say. Okay, let's go back to, this Nsibambi guy. Sad.
I've never even given a bottle of water to these prisoners, unfortunately. So all these discussions, personally, I even want to withdraw because it's now becoming life-threatening. If you see what is going on the internet and the messages we received of intimidation, it is basically business. Now, the president said he cannot interfere in matters which are before court.
But he interfered in the due process. There's
through the legal processes. And we're also stuck because he has not given any direction to the DPP or courts that he released. And now they also feel that, these are rebels, terrorists. So I think they are going to be there for quite some time. But I really state, as Honorable Otto said, basically these are political cases. These are young men who are excited. The president says they are misdirected. He financed the going back of the Genesis from Kenya and Gabon, who had been brought in to give here technical advice on how to riot and ban petrol stations. So it's really a very big process we are going through.
Listen.
Do you buy into the narrative that confusion is looming in the wake of the election?
I think there is lack of political maturity on the opposition actors. When I joined Parliament in 2001, there was serious mentorship. Augustine Ruzindana, Amanya Mushega, Tom Bolamu, Dr. Kule Park, Omara Tubo, Ben Wacha. There was mentorship.
Okay, Tom Bolamu, we're not going to do the things the way you did them, okay? It's a different generation. Things change. Do you know who mentored me? And what did that give birth to? And I forgot to mention, he's talking about, Nsibambi said that these people are fighting and undressing. I don't know any NUP person who was undressed. But I remember in the past, I remember Stella Nyanzu undressed. I remember, he is referring to the violent arrest of people, of opposition folks as fighting the police. But I remember Dr. Chizabesije pushing and pulling with police. It was his right then. I would defend any person who does it now. But now, because he's on the side of the NRM, everything that is done by the opposition is wrong.
There were rules on how things were done. The moment you get into political trouble, the political actors would negotiate honestly, because you shouldn't compromise individual freedom. So the big brother in the house, which is the National Unity Platform, the main opposition party in Uganda, that's not debatable. It's very powerful. It's not a political party.
Yeah, but if we could hold it there,
yes.
Don't you find it rather odd that you're using prisoners as a bargaining chip?
What I'm saying, there should be clear path of negotiation on how to get those political prisoners out. You don't compromise freedom. We live life once. The Eddie Mutwes, there are so many, we can name them.
Why are we not discussing the crimes they committed? What crimes did they commit? Because if you go for dialogues, like I said, if people want to go for dialogues, so be it. Hey, I'm outside. I'm not in prison, so I'm not going to be here and be like, hey, they shouldn't. If someone wants to discuss that freedom, like I said, please go on. But why are we not discussing how they were arrested and why they were arrested? These folks operate under an assumption that if they talk to Museveni and they release these prisoners, that will mark the end of arresting innocent people and abducting them or torturing and murdering them. No. This only shows Museveni what power it can do, just like we read here. What power does. It is when you capitulate and show him that you cannot stand your ground and say, we did not commit crime, any crime. You're not our king. Gosh.
National Unity Platform should come out clearly with what plans they have to get these people out. Because the information we are getting from Council Yusuf Nsibambi is now disturbing.
Nsibambi, okay.
If the Open Society in Europe is now giving $1,000 per prisoner to the law.
It is funny. He even didn't know. Remember when Nsibambi alleged that? He was like, oh, Oh, so they're getting $1 million. That means it's 3.6 million shillings. Okay. $1,000. Okay. Now he's like, oh, now we are getting, he's already confirmed it. Now he's starting to sell this BS of a lie. Sorry for using that language.
Lawyers. That is 3.7 million.
Which
3.7
is yet to
million
be
per month.
substantiated anyway.
3.7
It is
million per month.
unsubstantiated.
No, but just keep it. It's just even clear. He's a lawyer, a credible lawyer. In my entire life, as a teacher of law, even in private practice, I've never seen prisoners coming to prison, singing, banging tables for the magistrate to run out anywhere in the world. Apart
Ladies and gentlemen, this is why I said this. I titled this video Uganda's Idiocy Contest. What is he even talking about? Haven't you seen members of the former FDC and now supporters of SJ and members of the PFF sing in quote, "We shall overcome, we shall overcome"? Haven't you seen them? I don't get pissed off. I just like it. I'm like, yes, because we shall not overcome. But it is wrong when it is done by NUP supporters. Tuliambale ngule. Oh, in my all years of practiced law, I've never seen people sing. How come he doesn't raise the same argument when it is being done by a side he used to be sympathetic to? Jeez.
maybe Saddam Hussein, but even Saddam Hussein did go to that extent. What is happening all over the
People are
country?
clamoring for their freedom.
No, you don't do it like that. You are represented by a lawyer. There's etiquette. I taught law, but I stand when a
It looks like you don't understand the law you taught.
magistrate passes by. So there must be etiquette. How do you handle your representation? But this is made to frustrate proceedings and continue getting money. It's a business center.
Let me tell you what he said, okay? He said that the NUP receives $1,000 for each prisoner. He went on to allege that this money they receive from these nebulous sources is not given to the prisoners. So these prisoners do not receive any single coin. Okay? Now, let's take that on face value. He goes on to say that these folks who sing in court, they are meant to frustrate the court proceedings so that they continue getting money. Haven't you seen folks who sing? Usually, it is Alex Waiswa Mufumbiro, Bobby Giant, and the rest of other political prisoners, the likes of Sauda Madada. So, if they do not get this money that is being sent to them, how does their frustration of court proceedings put money in their pockets? What?
They are playing to the gallery just for them to get money. I'm sorry.
I wouldn't agree with that, Yusuf, entirely. It's true the donors are funding the lawyers. That are
He admitted, he said, oh, now if they are getting that money, then says, oh, it's true. I won't agree to that entirely. It's, oh my God.
are making representation. Open Society is an international organization with a lot.
I'm going to stop here. I think I covered all the areas to show you the idiocy here. Oh gosh. It is frustrating. I don't know. I don't know how these people go back home and be like, okay, I'm from a talk show. I discuss. They feel accomplished, or how do they feel? Contented from these kind of submissions? Like contradictions after contradictions. And look, we are able to dot every I and cross every T and make sense of what they say only to find out that it is a complete hogwash. I want you to know this. There are people who watch these shows and they're convinced. They'll be like, oh, I love Nsibambi. Oh my God. Listen to the point he made. Even when you, just minimal scrutiny from what they say, everything falls apart. All these narratives fall apart. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'll stop there. My name is Mordecai Morisa. If you truly appreciate what I do here, if I bring value to your political perspectives and Uganda in large, consider joining the Mordecai Morisa sponsors team. I'm looking for 100 people to sponsor this show. Not advertisers, I'm meaning individuals who are willing to chip in 20,000 shillings every month. Emitwale Bidya Uganda, 20,000 shillings. If you want to be part of the team and you be like, hey, Mordecai, I've always wanted to support you. Okay, I'm going to read you my WhatsApp number. Write to me and be like, hey, Mordecai, I've got your 2 million shillings right here. Where can I send it? I'm kidding. 20,000 shillings. If you want to be part of the Mordecai Morisa sponsors team, write to me on my WhatsApp +1 712 303 7831. Again, +1 712 303 7831. Now, slow. +1 712 303 7831. I want to say this. Please do not feel like you have to do this. I'm only talking to that person who has what we call a surplus. Do not push yourself. Don't be like, I would really want to help Mordecai. Would you accept my 10,000 or 5,000? That's all I have. No, please make sure you do take care of yourself. If you want to have the best meal, spend that money on you. If you want to get some shoes, if you want to get a jacket like this one, a nice style like this one, please spend that money. Only when you're done with everything and be like, okay, this is a tip I will accept, okay? All right. My name is Mordecai Morisa. I wish you a wonderful time till we see each other. No, we won't see each other again. Until you watch me again. Bye-bye.
Did you enjoy what you just watched?
I'm sure they did.
I'm going to guess that you did. How about you consider subscribing to Mordecai Morisa Live YouTube channel? Thank you.